of a pure and clouded brow, and dreaming eyes of Wonderland. Though time be fleeting, I and thou are half a life asunder. Thy loving smile will surely hail the love gift of a fairy tale. I have not seen thy sudden face, nor heard thy silver laughter, no thought of me shall find a place in thy's own life hereafter. Enough that now thou wilt not fail to listen to my fairy tale. A tale begun in other days, when summer suns were glowing, a simple chime that served to time the rhythm of all growing, whose echoes live in memory yet, though envious years would say, forget. Come, hearken me, ere voice of dread with bitter tidings laden shall summon to unwelcome bed a melancholy maiden. We are but older children, dear, who fret to find our bedtime near. Without the frost, the blinding snow, the storm wind's moody madness, within the firelights ruddy glow, and childhood's nest of gladness, these magic words shall hold thee fast. Thou shalt not heed the raving blast. And though a shadow of a sigh may tremble through our story, for happy summer days gone by and vanished in summer glory, it shall not touch with breath of veil the pleasance of our fairy tale.
There are rules on how we must conduct ourselves in court. Hold your head high, keep your temper, and listen attentively. The Queen has spoken, and rules are rules. Remember your lessons and your rhymes for recitation. Remember, everyone is watching and intends to judge you. Now, they may not tell you all the flaws they find, but certainly they will talk and talk and talk and... Oh, hello, Uncle.
Alice, dear, what are you up to in here?
Just imagining what it must be like to be queen, and what people expect of her.
Ah, yes, Queen Alice. Please forgive me for I've eaten the last of your favorite tarts.
You did what? How outrageous! Off with you! You!
Just a hungry old maid, Your Majesty, desperate for delectable pastries.
Well, you better make amends, you fat and weak uncle, with that perfectly ridiculous smile. Perhaps Dinah could give a suitable penance for you. Dinah? Oh, where is she?
Your pretty kitty cat. Last time I saw her, she was disappearing off into a tree after something or other.
She does love to chase. What's that? Have you got a story for me?
Why, of course. What will it be about this time? Not about being caught, no. One about queens? Or maybe hats? Or cats? Oh, I know. The Jabberwocky.
What?
The Jabberwocky. 'Twas pretty. And the slidey toads did guile and gimble in the wave. On mimsy were the Borgos, and the Momrats out grave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jub-Jub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time to make some foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish spot he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the Tolby wood and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my peevish boy, O frabjous day! Callooh, callay! We chortled in his joy. was brilliant, and the slidey toes that gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy where the boar goes, and the moon rests at the grave.
Uncle, what was that? How could I ever remember something like that? What utter nonsense!
Absolutely. For in Wonderland, there is no need for sense. In fact, it's uncommon.
In Wonderland?
Yes, Alice. In Wonderland, everything is that needs to be, and sense is not needed because everyone wonders of what could be. The possibilities, you see.
You're impossible.
Sometimes I believe in as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. But do you know what could use some sense? This book. Its words are full of magic. It needs pictures and conversations. And then it might make some sense. But as you please, I'll leave this to you. But be a good girl and use it wisely.
What is the use of a book without pictures and conversations? I shall never read such dull things as those.
Oh dear, I shall be late.
I have never before seen a rabbit with a pocket watch. It doesn't make any sense. Well, I wonder.
Oh, the Duchess. Oh, my dear Huss. The Queen. She'll be furious.
Oh, Mr. Rabbit, you forgot your... What? How? Odd, but scrumptious. I must be shutting up like a telescope. I'm afraid I might go out, you know. Am I going out altogether? Like a candle. I do believe I'd fit now. But how's the door shut? The key? Up there? Now how will I get in? There's no use in crying like that. I advise you to leave off this minute. Eat me? Well, if I eat can creep into the doorway and get into the garden. And I don't care which happens. Curiouser and curiouser. I must be opening up like the largest telescope that there ever was. How queer everything is today. Just yesterday, things went on just as usual. I wonder if I've been changed in the night. I can remember feeling a little different when I woke up this morning. I wonder if I can remember everything that makes me who I am. Oh, such a great puzzle. Let's see if I can remember my math. Well, 4 times 5 is 12, and 4 times 6 is 13, and 4 times 7 is... Oh no, that's all wrong. I'll try geography. Well, London is the capital of Paris, and Paris is the capital of Rome, and Rome... Oh no, that's all wrong, I'm certain. I'll try and recite my lines for recitation. I'll try and say, how doth the little
crocodile improve his shiny tail?
And pour the waters of the Nile on every golden scale.
How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neat he spreads his claws.
And welcome little fishes in with gently smiling jaws.
Oh, no, that's all wrong, I'm certain. As if poetry doesn't follow the rules of logic, and neither does my memory. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, a smart girl to go crying on in this way. I advise you to stop this minute, I tell you. What? How could I have done that? The door to the garden. It was never this small before. Never! Oh, I wish I hadn't cried so much. I shall be punished for it now, I suppose, by being drowned in my own tears. Would it be of any use to talk to this mouse? It's so very out of the way down here that it's very likely it can talk. Oh, mouse, do you know the way out of this pool? I'm very tired of swimming out here. Oh, mouse, if only I had my cat Kulaas out here to save me. Oh, I beg your pardon. I quite forgot that mice didn't like cats.
Not like cats. Would you like cats if you were me?
Well, perhaps not, but you needn't be so angry about it. I think you'd take a fancy to cats if you could only see her. She's such a dear, quiet thing, and such a capital one for catching mice and... Oh, I beg your pardon. We won't talk about her anymore if you'd rather not.
We indeed, as if I would talk on such a subject. Our family always hated cats. Nasty, low, vulgar things. Don't let me hear that name again.
I won't indeed.
Let us get to the shore and I'll tell you my history and why it is I hate cats. Sit down, all of you, and listen to me. I'll soon make you dry enough. This is the driest lecture I have ever delivered. Silence all around, if you please. Let us define the most immeasurable shame and unforgivable offense of our sacred rules and regulations. Tardiness. Referring to the failure to arrive at a designated time for arrival. This can occur in various contexts such as school, croquet games, tea parties.
Oh, this is so dry. I might just die of boredom.
I beg your pardon. Did you speak?
Not I.
I thought you did. I proceed. One must avoid the cursory causes for being late, such as the inevitable personal issues, crying, poor time management. The managers who monitor the time have found it advisable.
Found what?
Found it. Of course you know what it means.
I know what it means well enough. When I find a thing, it's generally a fraud.
Or a worm. The question is, what did the manager find?
Found it advisable to waste no time taking your time in the most timely fashion possible from point A to point B upon a reliably unobstructed path. How are you getting on now, my dear?
Oh, as wet as ever. It doesn't seem to dry me at all.
In that case, I move that the meeting adjourned for the immediate adoption of more energetic remedies.
Speak English. I don't know the meaning of half those one words, and what's more, I don't believe you do either.
What I was going to say was that the best thing to get us dry would be a caucus race.
What is a caucus race?
Why, the best way to explain it is to do it. On your mark, get set,
Go.
The race is over. Everybody has won, and all must have prizes.
Who is supposed to get prizes?
Why, she, of course.
Prizes.
Well, I have these mints.
But she must have a prize herself, you know.
Of course. What else have you got in your pocket?
Only a thimble.
Hand it over here. We beg your acceptance of this alien symbol.
You promised to tell me your history and why it is you hate.
Mine is a long and sad tale.
It's a long tale, certainly, but why is it called sad?
Fury said to the mouse that he met in the house, "Let us both go to law, I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial, we must have a trial. For really this morning I have nothing to do." Said the mouse to the cur, "Such a trial, dear sir, with no jury or judge would be wasting our breath." "I'll be judge, I'll be jury," said cunning old Fury. "I'll try the whole cause and condemn you to— You are not attending, what are you thinking of?"
I beg your pardon. We've got to the end, I think.
I am not.
But not. Oh, do let me have them do it.
I shall do nothing of the sort. You insult me by talking such nonsense.
I didn't mean it, but you're so easily offended, you know. Oh, please come back and finish your story.
Yes, please do. Oh, what a pity. It wouldn't stay.
If only we had our Dinah here, she'd soon fetch it back.
And who is Dinah, if I might venture to ask the question?
Dinah's our cat, and she's such a capital one for catching mice and— Oh, I wish you could see her after the birds. Why, she'll eat a little one as soon as she looks at you.
I really must be getting home. The night air does not suit my throat, and neither do cat corn.
No cats allowed. Keep your cats away from us beasts.
I wish I hadn't mentioned Dinah. Nobody seems to like her here. I'm sure she's the best cat in the whole world. Oh, Dinah, I wonder if I'll ever get to see you again.
Oh, the Duchess, oh my dear paws. Oh, my fur and whiskers, she'll have me executed. I'm sure spirits of Ferris, but where can I put them? I wonder why. Marianne, what are you doing here? Run home this moment and fetch me a pair of gloves and a fan. The Queen requires them for appearances in the court. Quickly, now!
He took me for his housemaid. How surprised he'll be when he finds out who I am. But I'd better get him his fan and gloves. That is, if I can find them. How queer it seems to be running errands for a rabbit. I suppose Dinah will be sending me next. Miss Alice, come here directly and get ready for your walk. Coming in a minute, nurse, but I've got to see that the mouse doesn't get out. Only, I don't think they'd let Dinah stop in the house if we began ordering people back like that. This must be that lovely garden that I saw through that wretched door. Now, where did I put those flowers talk?
Of course we can, and a great deal louder.
It isn't appropriate for us to be in, you know. And I really was wondering when you speak to us. I said to myself, her face has got some sense in it, though not a clever one. Still, for the right color, that goes a long way.
I don't care about her color, but if her petals were a bit more up-curled, I suppose she'd be decent.
She does have quite an awkward shape, I must say, but that's not your fault. The beginning of fade, you know, and one can't help one's petals getting a little untidy.
Aren't you sometimes frightened at being planted out here with no way to take care of you?
There's the tree in the middle. What else are we good for?
But what would it do if any danger came?
It says bow wow. That's why its branches are called bows. Didn't you know that?
Every one of you, just stop. They know. They only speaking because I can't get them.
Never mind. If you dare hold your tongues, I'll pick you.
That's right. All the daisies are the worst. One starts speaking and they don't stop. It's enough to make one's petals wither.
How come you can all talk so nicely? I've been in many gardens before, but none of the flowers could talk.
Well, put your hand to the ground. Don't you feel that?
It's very hard, but I don't see what that has to do with it.
Well, flower beds are usually soft. The flowers are always so sleepy.
Oh, I never thought of that before.
It's my opinion that you don't think at all.
I never saw anybody that looked stupider.
It's my opinion that you've never seen anybody at all. I mean, you're always under your petals asleep. I swear you don't know more than a bud would.
I'm sorry to trouble you all, but has any of you seen any gloves or a fan? I need to return them to the White Rabbit.
Lost something again, have you? You seem to be confirming Violet's shady point of view. I wonder if you had your roots fixed in the ground. You're always wondering. You wouldn't struggle so much with remembering things.
Well, this place may look like a lovely garden, but looks can be deceiving. Why, if I were my proper size, I could show you. And I like not being fixed to the ground so I can carry on like so. Good day to you.
Who are you?
I hardly know, sir. Just at present. At least I knew who I was when I got up this morning. But I must have been changed several times since then. I flowered just now.
What do you mean by that? Explain yourself.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't explain myself, sir. Because I'm not myself, you see.
I don't see.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't put it more clearly, for I can't understand it myself to begin with. Nothing is as it seems to me. So many sizes in a day is very confusing.
It isn't.
Well, perhaps you haven't found it so yet, but when you have to turn into a chrysalis, which you will someday, and then into a butterfly, I think you should feel a little queer, wouldn't you?
Not a bit.
Well, your feelings may be different. All I know is you'd feel very queer to me.
To you? Who are you?
I think you ought to tell me who you are first!
Why? Come back. I have something important to say. Keep your temper.
Is that all?
No. So you think you're changed, do you?
Oh, I'm afraid I am, sir. This is not my proper size, and I've lost something. And I can't remember things as I used to.
Remember what things?
Well, you see, I've lost the White Rabbit's things, and I tried to say how dope the little busy bee, but it all came different.
Repeat. You are old, Father William.
You are old, Father William, the young man said, and your hair has become very white. And yet you incessantly stand on your head. Do you think at your age this is right?
It might,
Father William replied to his son.
I fear it might injure the brain.
But now that I'm perfectly sure I have done it, I have done it again and again.
You're old, said to you. As I mentioned before, you have grown most uncommonly fat. And yet you turn a back somersault in at the door. Pray, what is the reason for that?
In my youth,
Said the sage as he shook his gray locks.
I've kept all my limbs very supple. By the use of this ointment, 1 shilling a box. Allow me to sell you a couple?
You're old,
Said to you.
Your jaw is too weak for anything tougher than suet. Yet you finish the ghost with the bones and the beak. Pray, how do you manage to do it?
In my youth,
Said his father.
I took to the law and argued each case with my wife. To the muscular strength which gave to my jaw that lasted the rest of my life.
You're old,
Said the youth.
Your eye is one would hardly suppose that your eye was as steady as ever. Yet you balance the eel at the end of your nose. What made you so awfully clever?
I've answered 3 questions and that is enough.
Said his father.
Don't take yourself airs. Do you think I can listen all day and such stuff? Be off or I'll kick you downstairs!
That is not right.
Right. I'm afraid some of the words have been altered.
It is wrong from beginning to end. So what size do you want to be?
Oh, I'm not sure what size to be. Only one doesn't like changing ever so often, you know.
I don't know. Are you content now?
Well, I'd like to be a little larger, sir. If you wouldn't mind, 3 inches is such a wretched height to be.
It is a very good height indeed.
Well, I'm not used to it. I wish everyone wouldn't be so easily offended here.
You'll get used to it in time. One side will make you grow taller. The other side will make you grow shorter.
One side of what? The other side of what?
Of the mushroom.
Which is which? I wonder. Very well. That feels all right. I should save these for later. How puzzling all these changes are. I'm never sure what I'm going to be from one minute to another, or where I'm going. To Tweedledum's house and to the house of Tweedledee. Why, I believe they live in the same house. How does that rhyme go?
Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed to have a battle, for Tweedledum said Tweedledee had spoiled his nice new rattle.
Just then flew in a monstrous crow, black as tar barrel, which frightened both the heroes so they quite forgot the crow.
I'll just call and say howdy do, and ask them whether or not they know where I can find the home of the white rabbit.
If you think we're whacked what you ought to pay, you know. Whacked to made be looked at for nothing, no how.
Contrariwise, if you think we're alive, you ought to speak. Oh, I'm sure I'm very sorry.
Oh, I know what you're thinking. But it isn't so, no how.
Contrariwise, if it was so, it might be, and if it was so, it would be. But as it isn't, it ain't.
That's logic.
I was thinking which way I might go to find the home of the white rabbit. Would you tell me, please? First boy.
No how.
Next boy, contrariwise.
You've been wrong. The first thing to say in a visit is how do you do and shake hands. How do you do and shake hands, shake hands, shake hands. How do you do and shake hands, shake hands, shake hands. 4 times round is enough for one dance.
It would never do to say how do you do. Now you seem to have gone beyond that somehow. I hope you're not much tired.
No how. Thank you very much for asking.
So much obliged. You like poetry?
Yes.
Well, some poetry. Oh, but there's been an awful lot of...
What should I repeat to her? What was McCarthy was longest?
The sea was wet. Very long. Would you tell me which way to go?
The sea was wet as wet could be. The sands were dry as dry. You could not see a cloud because no cloud was in the sky. No birds were flying overhead. There were no birds to fly.
The walrus and the carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand.
If this were only cleared away, they said, it would be grand.
If 7 maids with 7 moths swept for half the year, do you suppose,
The walrus said,
that they could get it clear?
I doubt it, said the carpenter, and shed a bitter tear.
Oh, oysters, come and walk with us.
The walrus did beseech.
A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along the briny beach. We cannot do with more than 4 to give a hand to each.
The eldest oyster looked at him, but never a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head, meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed.
But 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. Their coats were brushed, their faces washed, their shoes were clean and neat. And this is odd, because you know,
They hadn't any feet. 4 other oysters followed them, and yet another 4. And thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more, hopping through the frothy waves and scrambling to the shore.
the walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so, until they rested on a rock, conveniently low. And all the little oysters stood
And waited in a row.
The time has come!
The walrus said,
To talk of anything, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sea is boiling hot, and whether pigs have wings.
But wait a bit,
The oysters cried.
before we have our chat, for some of us are out of breath, and all of us are fat.
no hurry.
Said the carpenter.
They thanked him much for that.
A loaf of bread
The walrus said,
is what we chiefly need. Pepper and vinegar besides are very good indeed. Now if you're ready, oysters dear, we can begin to feed.
But not on us!
The oysters cried, turning a little blue.
After such kindness, that'd be a dismal thing to do.
The night is
the
fine.
walrus said,
Do you admire the view? It was so kind of you to come, and you are very nice.
the carpenter said nothing but, cut us another slice. I wish you were not quite so deaf I've had to ask you twice.
It seems a shame
The walrus
to
said,
play them such a trick after we've brought them out so far and made them trot so quick.
the carpenter said nothing but, the butter's spread too thick.
I weep for you.
The walrus said,
I deeply sympathize.
with sobs and tears he sorted out those of the largest size, and holding out his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes. Oh, oysters, said the carpenter, you've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again?
But answer came to none, and that was scarcely odd because
They've eaten everyone.
It's such a sad story, but I like the walrus best if he didn't eat so many as the carpenter.
He ate more though. You see, he held his pocket handkerchief in front so that the carpenter couldn't count how many he took, contrary-wise.
That was me, then I like the carpenter best if he didn't eat so many as the walrus.
but he ate as many as he could get.
Well, they were both very unpleasant characters. Are there any lions or tigers out here?
It's only the king snoring.
Fit to snore his head off.
He's off dreaming now, and what do you think he's dreaming about?
Nobody can guess that.
Why, about you, silly. And if he left off dreaming about you, where do you suppose you'd be?
Where I am now, of course.
Not you. You'd be nowhere. Why, you're only the sort of thing in his dream.
If the king weren't awake, you'd go out, bam, just like a candle.
I shouldn't. Besides, if I'm only the sort of thing in this dream, what are you? I should like to know.
Ditto!
I'm trying to wake him.
Well, it's no use you're talking about waking him when you're only one of the things in his dream. You know very well you're not real.
I am real.
Well, you won't make yourself a bit realer by crying. Why, there's nothing to cry about.
If I wasn't real, I shouldn't be able to cry.
I don't suppose you think those are real tears.
I know they're talking nonsense and it's foolish to cry about it. But at any rate, I'd better find that rabbit. Why, really, it's coming on very dark. Do you think it's going to rain?
I don't think so, at least.
What?
Not under here, nohow.
But it may outside.
It may, if it chooses. We have no objection, contrary-wise.
Do you
I knew it was! It's spoiled, of course!
You needn't be so angry about an old rattle.
But it isn't old. It's new, I tell you. I bought it yesterday. My nice new rattle! Of course! You agreed to have a battle!
I suppose so. Only she must help us to dress up, you know.
I do hope you're a good deal at pinning and tying strings. Every one of these must go on, somehow or another.
I need this to keep from our heads being cut off. You know, it's one of those most serious things that could possibly happen in one battle, to get one's head cut off.
Do I look very pale?
Well, yes.
I'm very brave generally, only today I happen to have a headache.
And I've got a toothache. Why, I'm far worse than you. Then you better not fight today.
But we must have a bit of a fight. But I'll go back going on, Mum. You there, what's the time? 4:30. Let's fight till 6. Then have dinner.
And she can watch us. Only you better not come very close. I generally hit everything I see. When I get very excited.
Well, I hit everything within reach, whether I can see it or not.
Then you must hit the trees pretty often, I should think.
I don't suppose there'll be a tree left standing so far away through.
And all about a rattle.
I wouldn't have minded it so, if it hadn't been a new one.
I wish the monstrous crow would come. There's only one sort, you know, but you can have the umbrella. It's quite a shock. Only we must begin quickly. It's getting as dark as it can.
And darker.
What a thick black cloud that is! And how fast it comes! Why, I believe it's got wings! It's the crow! Run away! Run away! Well, that's that. And there it goes again. But I still need to find the home of the white rabbit. This is home?
Oh, the Duchess! An invitation from the Queen to play croquet!
From the Queen, invitation for the Duchess to play croquet.
Hello? Is anyone there? There's no sense of use in your knocking, and that for 2 reasons. Firstly, because I'm on the same side of the door as you. Secondly, they're making such a racket inside, no one can possibly hear you.
Please, then how am I to get in?
There might be some sense in your knocking if we had a door between us. For instance, if you were inside and you were to knock, I could let you out, you know.
How am I to get in?
I shall sit here till tomorrow. Or the next day, maybe.
How can I get in?
For you to get in at all, that's the first question, you know.
It's really dreadful. All the way the creatures argue. It's enough to drive one crazy.
I shall sit here on and on for days and days.
But what am I to do?
Anything you like. I love my love with an H because he's happy. I hate him with an H because he is hideous. I fed him with hay and ham sandwiches. His name is Ham, and he lives on a hill.
Oh, there's no use in talking to him. He's perfectly idiotic.
We all can. Most do.
Don't know what I'm gonna get to.
You don't know much, and that's a fact.
Oh, please mind what you're doing. There goes his precious nose.
If everyone minded their own business, the world would go around a deal faster than it does.
Which would not be an advantage. Just think of what it would make with the day and night. You see, the Earth, it takes 24 hours to go round on its axis.
Talking of axes, chop off my head!
24 hours, I think. Where's its rev?
Don't bother me, I could never abide figures. Speak roughly to your little boy. And beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to remove because he knows it teases. I speak severely to my little boy. I beat him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases. Here, you may nurse a bit if you'd like. I'm off to play croquet with the queen.
Its arms and legs are just like a starfish. If I don't take the energy, they're sure to kill it in a day or two. Wouldn't it be murder to leave it behind? Don't grunt. That's not at all the proper way of expressing yourself. Your eyes are entirely too small for a baby, and your nose is far too turned up, much like a... Surely not! If you're going to turn into a pig, my dear, I'll have nothing more to do with you! Mind now. If it had grown up, it would have made a dreadfully ugly child. But a rather handsome pig, I think. I do think children would do well off as pigs, only I knew the right way to change them. It's the Cheshire Cat! Would you tell me please which way I ought to go from here?
That depends a good deal on where you want to go.
Oh, I don't much care where.
Then it doesn't matter which way you go.
As long as I get somewhere.
Or you're sure to do that. Only walk long enough.
Would you tell me please what sort of people live out here?
In that direction lives the Mad Hatter. In that direction lives the March Hare. Visited you like they're both mad.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad. You're mad.
How do you know that I'm mad?
Oh, you must be, or you wouldn't have come here.
And how do you know that you're mad?
Begin with, a dog's not mad, you got that.
I suppose so.
Well, you see, a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. I growl when I'm pleased and wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore, I'm mad.
I call it purring, not growling.
Call it what you like. Do you play croquet with the queen?
Oh, I should like it very much, but I haven't been invited yet. Will the White Rabbit be there? He had mentioned the Duchess, but I wasn't able to find him here.
Oh yes, most definitely. You'll see me there too. By the by, I nearly forgot to ask. What became of the baby?
It turned into a pig.
I thought it would.
Well, I've seen hatters before. The March Hare will be much more interesting, and perhaps as this is November, it won't be raving mad, at least not as mad as it was in March.
Did you say pig or fig?
I said pig, and I wish you wouldn't keep appearing and vanishing so suddenly. You make one quite giddy.
As you wish.
Well, I've often seen a cat without a grin, but a grin without a cat? It's the most curious thing I've ever seen in all my life. But everything's curious today.
No room.
There's plenty of room.
Have some wine.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any.
And it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
I didn't know it was your table. It's late for a great many more than 3.
Your hair wants cutting.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It's very rude.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
We shall have some fun now. I love riddles. I believe I can guess that.
Do you mean that you think you can find the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then you should say what you mean.
I do, at least I mean what I say. It's the same thing, you know.
Not the same thing a bit. You might just as well say that I see what I eat is the same as I eat what I see.
You might as well say that I like what I get is the same thing as I get what I like.
You might just as well say that I breathe when I sleep is the same thing as I sleep when I breathe. It is the same thing with you. What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong. I told you butter wouldn't suit the works.
It was the best butter.
Yes, but some crumbs must have got in as well. You shouldn't have put it in with a bread knife.
It was the best butter, you know. What a funny looking watch. It says the day of the month, but doesn't say what o'clock it is.
Does your watch tell you what year it is?
Certainly not. But that's because it stays the same year for such a long time together.
Which is just the case with mine.
But I don't quite understand you.
The dormouse is asleep again.
That's just what I was going to announce myself.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No. I give up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Nor I.
I think you might do better with the time than wasting it and asking riddles that have no answers to them.
If you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't talk about wasting it. It's him.
I don't know what you mean.
Of course you don't. I dare say you never even spoke for time.
I haven't, but I know I have to beat time when I learn music.
Well, that accounts for it. He won't stand beating. Now, if you only kept on good terms with him, he'd do almost anything you liked with the clock. Say it were 9 o'clock in the morning, just in time for lessons. All you would have to do would be to whisper a hint to time, and round goes the clock in a twinkling. 1:30, time for dinner.
I only wish you was
That would be grand, certainly. But I shouldn't want it now, you know.
Oh, well, not at first, perhaps, but you could keep it to 1:30 for as long as you liked.
Is that the way you manage?
Not I. We quarrelled last March, just before he went mad, you know. It was at the great concert, given by the Queen of Hearts, and I just had to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Bat, how I wonder what you're at. You know the song, perhaps?
I heard something like it.
It goes on, you know, in this way. Up above the world you fly, like a tea tray in the sky. Well, I'd hardly finished the first verse by the time the Queen jumped up and bawled out, "He's murdering the time! Off with his head!" And since then, he won't do a thing I ask. It's always 6 o'clock now.
That's why there's so many tea things put out here.
Yes, that's it. It's always tea time, and we've no time to go and wash the things between the miles.
Then you keep moving around, I suppose.
Yes, as the things get used up.
But what happens when you come back to the beginning again?
Yes, the beginning. Like breakfast in the morning. Oh, how I miss breakfast. and eggs. Eggy Weggy sat on a ledge. Eggy Weggy fell off the edge.
This is boring!
Because you sit down!
It's time to change the subject. I know. I say the young lady tells us a story. I'm afraid I don't know one.
Then the dormouse shall. Wake up, dormouse. I was sleeping. I was just resting my eyes. I heard everything you fellas were saying.
Oh, tell us a story. I'm all ears. Yes, please do.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep again before it's done. Once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters, and their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly, and they lived at the bottom of a well.
And what did they live on?
They lived on treacle.
They couldn't have done that. They'd have been ill.
They were very ill.
But why did they live at the bottom of a well? Taste some more tea. I've had nothing yet, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing.
Nobody asked your opinion.
Who's making personal remarks now?
But why did they live at the bottom of a well?
It was a treacle well.
There's no such thing!
If you can't be civil, then you better finish the story for yourself.
Oh no, I won't interrupt again. Please go on. I dare say there may be one.
One indeed. And so, these 3 sisters, they were learning to draw now.
And what did they draw?
Treacle, I want a clean cup. Let's all move one place on. Faster. Make yourself useful. Run. Go. Twinkle, twinkle, little bat. If you go fast, I'll make you a hat. Sit. No, that's it, that's mine.
I don't understand. Where did they draw the treacle from?
You can draw water out of a water whale. So I should assume that you can draw treacle out of a treacle well.
But they were in
Stupid.
They were in the well.
So they were well in, and the sisters, they were learning to draw everything that remains within them.
Why with the M?
Why not? So many questions. And M begins with an M, such as mousetraps and the moon and memory and muchness. You know, there's something so much of muchness. Did you ever see such a thing as a rhyme?
Really, now you ask? I don't think.
Then you shouldn't talk. Now up, out of your seat, please, and fetch us breakfast. Go onwards.
Fetch breakfast. Fetch my fanning gloves, which was the stupidest tea party I ever was at in all my life. That hatter, he just kept egging me on. Could that be? It can't be anyone else. I'm as certain of it. As if his name was written all over his face. And how exactly like an egg he is.
It is very provoking to be called an egg.
Oh,
Very!
said he looked like an egg, sir. And you know some eggs are very pretty.
And you know some people have no more sense than a baby.
Yes. Like the hatter calling you Eggy Waggy when it's really Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great ball. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty in his place again. But that last line is much too long for the poetry.
Don't stand there chattering to yourself like that, but tell me your name and your business.
My name's Alice, but
It's a stupid enough name.
what does it mean? Must have name means something.
Of course it must. My name means the shape I am, and a good handsome shape it is too. With a name like yours, you might be any shape. Almost.
Why do you sit out here all alone?
Why? Because there's nobody with me. Did you think I wouldn't know the answer to a question like that? Ask another.
Don't you think you'd be safer on the ground? That wall is so very narrow.
What tremendously easy riddles you ask. Of course I don't think so. Why, if I ever did fall off, which there's no chance of, but if I did fall off, the king has promised me with his very own mouth to
send all his horses and all his men.
Now I declare that's too bad. You've been knocking at doors and hiding behind trees and up chimneys, or you couldn't have known that.
I haven't. It's in a book.
Why, like this book where we are? Ah, well, they might write such things in a book. That's a history, that is. Now, take a good, fine look at me. I'm the one that has spoken to a king. Mayhaps you'll never see such another. And to prove to you I'm not too proud, I'll allow you to shake hands with me. Yes, all of his horses and all of his men, they'd pick me up again in a minute, they would. Now I declare, this conversation is going a little too fast. Let's go back to the last remark but one.
Well, I'm afraid I can't quite remember it.
In that case, we'll start fresh. And it's my turn to choose a subject. Now here's a question for you. How old did you say you were?
13 years and 6 months.
Wrong! You never said a word like it.
I thought you meant how old are you?
If I meant that, I have said it. 13 years and 6 months! Uncomfortable sort of age. Now, if you'd asked my advice, I'd have said, leave off at 13, but it's too late now.
I never asked advice about growing.
Too proud.
I only meant that one can't help getting older.
One can, perhaps, but two can, with proper egg systems. You might have left off at 13.
What a beautiful belt you've got on. Oh no, a beautiful cravat. Oh, I should have said belt. Oh, I beg your pardon. If only one could tell which was neck and which was waist.
It's very relaxing when one can't tell the difference between a cravat and a belt.
I know it's very ignorant of me.
It's a cravat, child, and a very beautiful one at that. It was a present given to me by the king and queen themselves.
Was it really?
Yes, they gave it to me for an unbirthday present.
I beg your pardon.
I'm unoffended.
I only meant, what is an unbirthday present?
A present given when it isn't your birthday. Of course.
Well, I like birthday presents best.
You don't know what you're talking about. How many days are there in a year?
365.
And how many birthdays have you?
1.
And if you take 1 from 365, what remains?
364, of course.
Yes, and that leaves only 1 for birthday presents. There's glory for you.
I don't know what you mean by glory.
Of course you don't. Did I tell you? What I meant by glory is that there's a nice knockdown argument for you.
But glory doesn't mean a nice knockdown argument.
When I say a word, it means just what I choose to mean. Neither more nor less.
The question is whether you can make words mean so many different things.
The question is, which is to be mastered. That's all. They have a temper, some of them, particularly they're the proudest. Adjectives, you can do anything with, but not verbs. However, I can manage the whole lot of them. Impenetrability. That's what I say.
Would you tell me what that means, please?
What I meant by impenetrability is that we've had enough of this subject, and it's just about time to move on to a different one, as I suppose you don't mean to remain here for the rest of your life.
That's a great deal to make one word mean.
When I make a word do a lot of work like that, I always make sure to pay it extra.
Oh,
You should see them come round my house on a Saturday night to get their wages, you know?
sir, you seem very clever at explaining words. Would you tell me, please, the meaning of the poem called Jabberwocky?
I can explain all the poems that were ever invented, and a good many that haven't been invented just yet. Give it here. 'Twas brilliant, and the slidey toads did gyre and gimble in the way. All mimsy were the borogoves and the moon-rats. That's enough to begin with. There's a lot of hard words in there. Let's start with brilliant. Brilliant means 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the time when you begin broiling things for dinner.
Very well. And what about slidey?
Well, slidey is a blend of the words slimy and love. Love is the same as active. It's like a portmanteau. There are 2 meanings packed into 1 word.
I see it now. And what about toads?
Well, toads are a sort of green pig. And once you've met one, you'll be, if they're very big.
Must be very curious looking creatures.
I think, let's start with outgraving. Yes, outgraving is a very complex word, and it needs a big, long description. It is sort of between a bellowing, whistling, and a bit of a whisper. And once you've heard it, much like the toads, you'll be quite content. Who's been repeating all this hard stuff to you?
Well, my uncle read it to me from a book, but I had some much easier poetry repeated to me by Tweedledee, I think it was.
Well, if it's poetry you want, I can repeat poetry just as well as other folk, if it comes to that.
I didn't need it to come to that.
The piece I'm going to repeat was written entirely for your amusement.
Thank you very much.
In winter, when the fields are white, I sing this song for your delight. Only I don't sing it.
I see you don't.
If you can see whether I'm singing or not, you've sharper eyes than those. In spring, when the leaves are green, I'll try and tell you what I mean. In summer, when the days are long, I hope you understand my song. In autumn, when leaves are brown, take pen and ink and write it down.
I really like remember it so well.
You needn't go on making remarks like that. They're not sensible, and they put me out. I sent a message to the fish. I told them this. This is what I wish. The little fishies of the sea. They sent an answer back to me. The little fishies' answer was, "We cannot do it, sir, because..." I sent to them again to say it would be better to obey. The little fishies responded with a grin. "Why, what a temper you're in!" I told them once, I told them twice. They would not listen to my advice. I took a kettle, large and new, fit for the deed I had to do. My heart went whoop, my heart went thump. I filled the kettle at the pump. Then someone came to me and said, "The little fishes are in bed." I said to him, I said it plain, "Then you must wake them up again." I said it then, very loud, "Then you must wake them up again."
Why are you not even the messenger for anything?
"Then you must wake them up again." But he was very stiff and proud. He said, "You needn't shout so loud. And he was very proud and stiff. He said, I'd go and wake them. If I took a corkscrew from the shelf, I were to wake them up myself. And when I found the door was locked, I pulled and pushed and kicked and knocked. And when I found the door was shut, I tried to damn their handle,
That's all.
That's all. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Till we meet again.
I shouldn't know you were going to speak to me just so exactly like other people.
The face is what one goes by generally.
That's just what I complain of. Your face is the same as everybody has. The two eyes, so, nose in the middle, mouth under. It's all the same. Now if you had two eyes on the same side of the nose, for instance, or the mouth on top, that would be of some help.
But it wouldn't look nice.
Wait till you try.
Goodbye.
I sent them on. Did you happen to see any soldiers, my dear, as you passed through the wood?
Yes, several dozen of them, I should think.
34. That's the exact number. I couldn't send all of them, you know, because most of them are wanted in the game.
Oh, I love games. What game?
The Queen's Croquet game. And I haven't sent the two messengers either. They're both gone into the town. Just look along the road and tell me if you can see either of them.
I see nobody on the road.
I only wish I had such eyes. To be able to see nobody. Not that distance, too. But it's as much as I can do to see real people by this light.
I see somebody now. But how slowly he's coming. And what curious attitudes he goes into.
Not at all. He's a frabjous frog messenger, and those are frabjous frog attitudes. He really does it when he's happy. His name is Haya.
I love my love with an H because he's happy.
And I hate him with an H because he's hideous.
I fed him with ham sandwiches and hay.
His name is Haya. He lives on the hill.
The other messenger's called Hatter. A master too, you know. To come and go, when to come, and when to go.
I beg your pardon.
It isn't respectable to beg.
Oh, I only meant that I didn't understand. Why one to come and one to go?
Didn't I tell you? I must have two. To fetch and carry. One to fetch and one to carry. This young lady loves you with an H. Oh! You alarm me. I feel faint. Give me a ham sandwich. Another sandwich.
There's nothing left but hay now.
Pay them. There's nothing like eating hay when you're faint.
I should think throwing cold water over you would be better. Or some smelling salts.
I didn't say there was nothing better. I said there was nothing like it. What did you pass on the road?
Nobody?
Quite right. This young lady saw him too. So of course nobody walks slower than you.
I do my best. I'm sure nobody walks much faster than I do.
He can't do that, otherwise he'd have been here first. How about now you've got your breath, you may tell us what's happened.
I'll whisper it. They're at it again!
You call that a whisper? You do that again, I'll have you better! It went through my head like an earthquake.
We were at it again.
Why, the lion and the unicorn, of course.
Fighting for the crown.
Yes, to be sure. And the best of the joke is, that's my crown all the while. Let's try to see them.
The lion and unicorn were fighting for the crown.
The lion and unicorn all around town.
Some gave them white bread, some gave them brown.
Some gave them plum cake and drummed them out of town.
Just a little bit, baby. down.
Oh dear me, no. What an idea.
Will you be good enough to stop a minute? Just to catch one's breath again.
Oh, I'm good enough. Only I'm not strong enough. You see, a minute goes by so fearfully quick. You might as well try to stop a bangle snatch.
You see, he's only just out of prison, and he hadn't finished his tea when he was sent in. So, see, he's very hungry and thirsty. How are you? Did you enjoy your time in prison, dear child? Speak, won't you?
Speak, won't you? How did they get around the fight? Very well. Each of them has been down about 87 times.
Then serving the white bread and the brown.
Yes, this is something I'm eating now. 10 minutes allowed for refreshments. I don't think they'll fight anymore today. Hold on, the drums begin.
I have the best for this time.
A little. Only you shouldn't have her doing your horn, you know.
It didn't hurt him. What is this?
This is a child we just saw today. It's as large as life and twice natural.
I always thought they were fabulous monsters. Is it alive?
It can't talk, you know.
Talk, child.
Did you know that I always thought unicorns were fabulous monsters too? But I've never seen one alive before.
Well, now that we have seen each other, if you will believe in me, I'll believe in you, deal?
Yes, if you'd like.
Come, fetch the pumpkin, old man. None of that brown bread for me.
Over the back. Look down this whole pay. What's this?
What is it now? You'll never guess. I couldn't.
Animal? Vegetable? Mineral?
It's a fabulous monster.
And monster. And round the plum cake monster. And both of you. Sit down! Fair play with the cakey now.
What a fight we might have for the crown.
I should win easy.
I'm not so sure of that.
Why, I beat you all around town, you chicken!
All around the town.
That's a good long way. Did you go by the marketplace over your bridge? You get the best view of your bridge! I'm sure I don't know. There's too much dust to see anything. What a time the monster's having cutting up that cake.
It's very provoking. I cut several slices already, but they always join on again.
You don't know how to manage Wonderland cakes.
Heather at first, cut it afterwards.
Now good enough.
I say this isn't fair. The monster's given away twice as much as me.
Well, she's kept none for herself, anyhow. Do you like plum cake, monster? Well, that's her relief. A queen's croquet game has begun. Carroll, you're invited to play.
Of course, I've always wear it on others.
You're not one to talk. I heard only yesterday the Queen said that you deserve to be beheaded. What for?
None of your business, too.
It is her business, and I'll tell her why. It was for bringing the cook tulip roots instead of onions.
That's all the unjust things.
Would you tell me why you were painting those roses?
Well, you see, miss, we accidentally planted a white rose tree instead of a red rose tree, and now we're just painting the roses so that the Queen doesn't cut off her head. The Queen! The Queen! Who is this?
come from and where you going. Look up, speak nicely, and don't twiddle your fingers all the time.
I may have lost my way.
I don't know what you mean by your way. All the ways around here belong to me. But why did you come out here at all? Curtsy, while you're thinking of what to say, it saves time. Try to act now. Open your mouth a little wider when you speak. And always say, Your Majesty.
Yes, Your Majesty. The king invited me to play croquet.
Oh, did he? Brandon, and who are these?
How should I know? It's no business of mine.
Off their head!
Nonsense!
Consider, my dear, she is only a child.
Turn him over! Get up! Leave off that. You make me giddy. What have you been doing here?
Well, you see,
I see! Over the head!
You shall be beheaded.
Are their heads off?
Your heads are off if it pleases your majesty.
Right! Ugh, can you play croquet?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Come on then!
It's a very fine day.
Very. Where's the
Oh,
Duchess?
hush! She's under a sentence of execution.
What for?
Did you say what pity?
No, I don't think it's a pity. I said, what for?
She boxed the queen's ears and hush, the queen will hear you. You see, she arrived rather late and the queen said,
Get your places! Let the games begin! Off with his head! Off with your head! Off with his head!
They're dreadfully fond of beheading people here. The great wonder is if there's anyone left alive. It's the Cheshire Cat. Now I shall have somebody to talk to.
How are you getting on?
Well, this is madness. They don't play at all fairly, and they all quarrel so dreadfully one can't hear oneself speak. And they don't have any rules in particular. At least, if they do, nobody attends to them. And it's so confusing how the creatures are alive. You see, I should have croqueted the queen's hedgehog just now, but it ran away when it saw mine coming.
How do you like the queen?
Oh, not at all. She's so extremely... And I'm going to win. It's hardly worthwhile finishing the game. Who are you talking to? It's my friend, a Cheshire Cat. Allow me to introduce it.
I don't like the look of it at all. However, it may.
Kiss my head in flux.
I rather not.
Oh, don't be unpleasant. Don't look at me like that!
A cat may look at a king. I read that somewhere. I can't remember where.
Well, it must be removed. My dear, I wish you'd have this kept removed.
Off with his head!
I'll fetch the executioner myself. You see, my dear,
Nobody? What? How has this a head without a body to cut it from?
anything that has a head.
Something isn't done about this in less than no time, all of you be executed! Every single one of you will lose your head!
can't think how glad I am to see you again, you dear old thing.
She's in a much better sort than when I first saw her. I do wonder if it was the pepper. When I'm a duchess, I won't have any pepper in my kitchen at all. I do wonder if it's pepper that makes people hot-tempered, and vinegar that makes them sour, and chamomile that makes them bitter, and barley sugar and such things that make children sweet-tempered. I do wish people knew that so they wouldn't be so stingy about it all the time.
You're thinking about something, my dear, and that makes you forget to talk. I can't tell you just now what all that is, but I shall remember it in a bit.
Perhaps it hasn't one.
Well, everything has got a moral. If only you can find it.
Things are getting on much better now.
Just so. And the moral of that is, tis love that makes the world go round.
Somebody told me it's done by everyone minding their own business.
Well, it means much the same thing. And the moral of that is, take care of the sounds, and the sounds will take care of themselves. I dare say you're wondering why I don't put my arm around your waist. The reason is that I'm doubtful about the temper of the flamingo. Shall I try the experiment?
We might fight.
Very true. Flamingos and mustard both fight. And the moral of that is, birds of a feather flock together.
Only mustard isn't a bird.
Right, as usual. Perfectly where you have funny things.
It's a mineral, I think.
Of course it is. There's a large list of mining here. And the moral of that is, more there is a mine, the less there is a human.
Oh, I know. It's a vegetable. It doesn't look like one, but it is.
I quite agree with you. And the moral of that is, be what you would seem to be. Or, if you'd like to put it more simply, never imagine yourself not to be otherwise than what you might appear to others that what you might have been, or could have been, were not for them to appear to be otherwise.
I think I might understand that better if I had it written down, but I can't quite follow it as you say it now.
That's nothing to what I could say. If I
Oh,
chose.
pray don't trouble yourself about it any longer
Don't
than
talk
that.
about trouble. I'm making a present of everything I've said as yet.
A cheap sort of present. I'm glad they don't give birthday presents like that.
Thinking again?
I have a right to think.
Just about as much right as pigs have to fly, and the more... Of your name, Your Majesty.
Now, I give you fair warning. Either you or your head must be off. And that I have no time! Take your choice. Have you gone to see the mock turtle yet?
No. I don't even know what a mock turtle is.
It's the thing mock turtle soup is made from.
I've never heard of one or seen one.
Come on then! He shall tell you his history.
You are all pardons.
Ah! Lazy thing. And take this girl to see the mock turtle. And to hear his history. I must go back and see after some executions I've ordered. Ta-ta!
What fun?
What is the fun?
What a shame. It's all a fancy that. They never execute nobody around here. Come on.
Everyone says come on here. I was never ordered a bout in all my life. Never. What is his sorrow?
It's all as fancy that. He hasn't got no sorrow. Come on. This little lady wants to know your history, she do.
I'll tell it to her. Don't speak a word till I finish. You see, once I was a real and when we were little, we went to school in the sea. The master there, he was an old turtle. We used to call him Tortoise.
Why did you call him Tortoise if he wasn't one?
We call him Tortoise because he taught us. Really, you are very dull.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question. Drive on, old fellow. Don't be all day about it.
We went to school in the sea. Mentally.
I never said I didn't.
You did.
Hold your tongue.
We had the best of education. In fact, we went to school every day.
I've been to a day school too. You needn't be so proud as all that.
With extras
Yes, we learned French and music.
and washing.
Oh, certainly not.
And yours really wasn't a good one. Now, ours, they had at the end of the beginning. French, music, washing, extra.
You couldn't have wanted it that much living at the bottom of the sea.
I couldn't afford to learn. I only took the regular course.
And what was that?
reading and writing, was to begin with, and then the different branches of arithmetic. Addition, distraction, multiplication, and division.
What is uglification? I never heard of that before.
What? Never heard of uglifying? You know what a beautify is, I suppose?
Yes, it means to make anything prettier.
Well then, if you don't know what to uglify is, you're a simpleton.
But there was mystery, ancient and modern, geography, and drawing. Drawing that was an old convent meal that used to come once a week. We got drawing, stretching, painting in colors.
And what was that like?
I can't show it to myself, I'm far too stiff. The Griffin here never learned.
And time. I did see the classics master though. It's an old crab he was.
Don't laugh at Griffin, is to say.
So we did. So we did.
And how many hours a day did you do lessons?
10 the first day, 9 the next, and so on.
What a curious plan.
That's the reason they're called lessons. Because they lesson from day to day.
Then the 11th day must have been a holiday.
Of course it was.
And how did you manage on the 12th?
That's enough about lessons for now. Tell us something about the games. Same as if he had a bone in his throat.
You may not have lived much under the sea.
I haven't.
Perhaps you were never even introduced to a lobster.
I want to taste... no, never.
You can have no idea what a delightful thing a lobster quadrille is.
No, indeed. What sort of dance is it?
Why, first you form into a line along the seashore.
2 lines, seals, turtles, salmon, and so on. Then, when you clear all the jellyfish out of the way,
That generally takes some time.
you advance twice.
Each with the lobster as a partner.
Of course, advance twice, set to partners.
Change lobsters. And retire in same order.
Then you throw them
The lobsters.
far out to the seas again.
Swim after them.
Turn a somersault in the sea,
Change lobsters again.
and back to land again. And that's just the first figure.
It must be a very pretty dance.
Would you like to see a little of it?
Yes, very much indeed.
Come, let us try the first figure. We can do without the lobsters again. Which shall sing?
You sing. We've forgotten the words.
You walk a little faster, said a whiting to a snail. There's a porpoise close behind us, and he's treading on my tail. See, eagerly the lobsters and the turtles all advance. They are waiting on the shingle, but you come and join the dance. Will you,
Won't you?
will you,
Won't you? Won't you join the dance? Will you? Won't you? Will you? Won't you? Won't you join the dance?
You can really have no notion how delightful it will be when they take us up and throw us with the lobsters out to sea. But the snail replied too far, and gave a look askance. Said he thanked the whiting kindly, but he would not join the dance.
Would not, could not, would not, could not join the dance. Would not, could not, would not, could not join the dance.
Thank you. It's a very interesting dance to watch, and I do like that curious song about the whiting.
As to the whiting, you've seen them, of course.
Yes, I often sing them at dinner.
Well, I don't know where Din may be, but you've seen them so often, you of course know what they're like.
Yes, they have their tails in their mouths and they're all over crumbs.
You're wrong about the crumbs. Crumbs would all wash off in the sea. They do have their tails in the mouth. Tell me what the reason is and all that.
The reason for that is they would go with the lobsters to dance, so they got thrown out to sea. So they had to fall a long way. So they got their tails stuck fast in their mouths, so they couldn't get them out again. Well, that's all.
Thank you. I never knew so much about whiting before.
I could tell you more than that if you'd like. You know why it's called a whiting?
I never thought about it. Why?
It does the boots and the shoes.
Was the boots and the shoes?
Why? I mean, what are your shoes done with? What makes them so shiny?
They're done with a black polish, I believe.
Well, under the sea, it's done with a whiting. Now you know.
And what are they made from?
Soles and eels, of course. Any shrimp could have told you that.
If I were the whiting, I'd have said to the porpoise, keep back, please, we don't want you with us.
They were obliged to have them with me. No wise fish would go anywhere without a porpoise.
Wouldn't it really?
Of course not. Why, if a fish came up to me, told me he was going on a journey, I should ask with what porpoise.
Don't you mean purpose?
I mean what I say, and I said what I say!
Come, let's hear some of your adventures.
I would tell you my adventures starting from this morning, but it's no use going back to yesterday, because you see, I was a different person then.
Explain all that.
No, adventures first, explanations after. They take such a dreadful time.
I would tell you, but I can't remember much of what I need to say when I tell stories, or recite lines for that matter. You see, the caterpillar asked me to repeat, "You are old, Father William," but it all came different.
How curious.
It's about as curious as can be, and so am I.
It all came different. I should like to hear you trying to repeat something now. So let's begin.
Repeat. 'Tis the voice of the sluggard.
How the creatures order one about to make one repeat lessons. I might as well be at school. "'Tis the lobster," I heard him declare. "You have baked me too brown, I'm a sugar, my hair." As the duck with its eyelids, so he with his nose trims his belt and his buttons and turns out his toes. When the sands are all dry, he is gay as a lark, and will talk of contemptuous terms of a shark. When the tide rises and the sharks are all around, his voice has a timid and tremulous sound.
That's different from what I used to say when I was a child.
Well, I never heard it before, but it sounds uncommon nonsense. I should like to have explained.
She can't explain it.
What's the use of repeating all that stuff if you don't explain it as you go along? It's by far the most confusing thing I've ever heard of.
Yes, I think we'd better leave off for now. Would you like to see another figure of the lobster quadrille? Would you like the mock turtle to sing you a song?
A song, please, if the mock turtle wouldn't be ever so kind.
No account for tastes. Sing a turtle soup, would you, old fella?
Beautiful soup, so rich and green, waiting in a hot tureen. Oh, such dainties would not stoop. Soup of evening, beautiful soup. Soup of the evening, beautiful soup.
Chorus again. Come on!
What trial is it?
Come on!
Soup of the evening, beautiful, beautiful soup.
I wish they'd get this trial done and hand out the refreshments. I'm absolutely famished. That's the judge because of his great being, and that's the jury box, and those creatures, I suppose they are the jurors. What are they doing? They can't have anything to put down yet before the trial's begun.
They're putting down their names for fear they should forget them before the end of the trial.
Stupid things.
The trial has begun.
How would one spell stupid?
Stuepid.
A nice muddle their slates will be in before the trial's begun.
Harold, read the accusation. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts, and took them quite away. Consider the verdict. Wait, Your Majesty, there's a great deal to come before that. Call the first witness. First witness!
I beg pardon, Your Majesty, for bringing these in, but I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was sent for.
You ought to have finished. When did you begin?
14th of March, I think it was.
15.
16.
Write that down. Take off your hat.
It isn't mine. Stolen! I keep them to sell. I've none of my own. I'm a hatter.
Give me evidence, and don't be nervous or I'll have you executed on the spot.
Oh, I wish you wouldn't block me so I can hardly see.
I can't help it, I'm growing.
You've no right to grow here.
Don't talk nonsense, you know you're growing too.
Yes, but I grow at a reasonable pace, not in this ridiculous fashion.
Bring me the list of singers in the last concert.
Give me evidence, or I'll have you executed whether you know some not.
I'm a poor man, your majesty, and I hadn't begun my tea, not above a week or so, and what with the bread and the butter getting so thin, and the twinkling of the tea.
The twinkling of the what?
It began with the tea.
Of course twinkling begins with a T. Do you take me for a dance?
Actually,
So on!
I'm a poor man, your majesty, and most things twinkle after that.
Oh my god, chair said, I did it!
Yes, you did.
I denied. Ha!
He denies it. Leave out that part.
Well, at any rate, the dormouse said, "Sleep again." After that, I got some more bread and butter.
But what did the dormouse say?
That I actually cannot remember.
You must remember, or I'll have you executed.
I'm a poor man, your majesty.
You're a very poor speaker.
Well, I so often read in newspapers that at the beginning of trials, there was some attempts at applause which was immediately suppressed by the officers of the court. And I didn't understand what that meant until now.
If that's all you know about it, you may stand down. I can't go no lower. I'm on the floor as it is.
Then you may sit down. Thank you.
Well, hopefully that's done. Now we shall get on better.
Actually, I'd rather finish my tea.
You may go.
And just take his head off outside.
I wasn't even accused!
Call the next witness. Give me evidence.
Sean.
Your Majesty must cross-examine the witness.
Well, if I must.
I must. What are tarts made of?
Pepper, mostly. Treacle, call that dormouse. Behead that dormouse. Turn that dormouse out of court. Suppress him. Pinch him. Off with his whiskers.
Never mind. Call the next witness. Really, my dear, you must cross-examine the next witness. It quite makes my forehead ache.
I do wonder who the next witness is, for they haven't got much evidence yet.
The court calls Alice.
Here!
The trial cannot proceed until all jurors are back in the proper places.
Even if he was upright, it doesn't signify much. I should think you'd be one use in the trial one way as the other.
What do you know of this business?
Nothing.
Nothing whatever.
Nothing whatever.
That's very important. Unimportant, Your Majesty means, of course. Unimportant. Of course. I meant important. Unimportant? Let the jury consider the verdict. Wait, hold on, Your Majesty. This letter has just been picked up.
What's in it?
I haven't opened it yet, but it seems to be a letter from the prisoner to somebody. It must have been that. Unless it was written to nobody, which isn't usual, you know.
Who is it directed to?
Well, it isn't directed at all, and in fact, it's not a letter, it's a set of verses.
Was it in the prisoner's handwriting?
No, and that's the queerest thing about it. He must have imitated somebody else's hand.
Please, Your Majesty, I didn't write it, and you can't prove that I did. There's no name signed at the end.
If you didn't sign it, that only makes matters worse. You must have made some mischief, or else he'd have signed your name like an honest man.
That proves his guilt.
It proves nothing of the sort. Why, you don't even know what's in it.
Read it. Where shall I begin, Your Majesty? Begin at the beginning and then go on until you come to the end, then stop. They told me you had been to her and mentioned me to him. She gave me a good character, but said I could not swim.
He sent them word I had not gone, we know it to be true. If she should push the matter on, what would become of you? I gave her 1, they gave him 2. You gave us 3 or more. They all returned from him to you, though they were mine before. If I or she should chance to be involved in this affair, he trusts to you to set them free, exactly as we were. My notion was that you had been, before she had this fit, an obstacle that came between him, ourselves, and it. Don't let them know she liked them best, for this must ever be a secret kept from all the rest, between yourselves and me.
That must be the most important piece of evidence we've had yet. So now, let the jury...
If any one of them can explain it, I'll give them 6 pence. Why, I don't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
She doesn't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
Well, I believe an atom must not be mean.
Contrary-wise, I mean you must believe it has an atom.
Well, if there's no meaning in it, then that saves us a world of trouble, you know, as we need try to find any. And yet I don't know. I seem to see some meaning in them, after all. Said I could not swim. You can't swim, can you? Does it look like I can swim? All right, so far, we know it to be true. That's the jury, of course. I gave her 1, they gave him 2, but that must be what you do the toss.
But then it goes on, they all return from him to you.
Right, there they are. Nothing could be clearer than that. But then again, before she had this fit. You never had any fits, my dear, I think.
Never!
The words don't fit you. It's a pun!
No! Sentence first. Verdict afterwards.
Stupid nonsense! The idea of having the sentence first.
Hold your tongue!
I won't!
Silence! Roll 42! Our pass is more than a mile high to leave the course!
I'm not a mile high!
You are!
Nearly 2 miles high!
I shan't go! Besides, that's not a regular rule. You invented it just now!
It's the oldest rule in the book!
Then it ought to be number 1.
Oh, with her hand!
Who cares for you? You're nothing but a pack of cards!
Were you dreaming? Oh, Alice.
Oh, yes! Such a curious dream! First I followed a rabbit into this book, and it led to so many pictures of doggy flowers and mice and birds. Oh, and there's the Queen, the Duchess, and the Mock Turtle, and the Griffin. Oh, and a most unpleasant tea party with a sleeping dormouse and a fruit hatter. But there was poetry flying off the pages. But the rules. Oh, the rules, what uncommon nonsense. You just kept making them up as they went along. I haven't learned how to stick up for myself.
Why, that does sound like the most curious dream and excellent story indeed. Talking flora and fauna, fantastic creatures, broken rules. Why, what a wonderland. Better than this old book, I'd wager. But was the jungle looking at?
Oh, heavens no. Thank goodness. But Humpty Dumpty did help me to understand that nonsense.
Oh, that old egg. Perhaps a crack-up like Humpty Dumpty knows well enough how to appreciate a fabulous day like this.
Caillou Calais.
Come along, dear. Time for tea. And tots. Dinah's waiting.
A cat having a cup of tea with time. What wonderfully lovely nonsense.
Welcome to Wonderland. This is your new